So welcome everyone to the webinar, Blended Learning and Sharing Fantásticas Ideas. This webinar has been organized by Central South Consortium and Central South Consortium International Languages. Please make sure your microphones are off and your cameras are off, just the presenters and especially Elena, who is the first one. This is all the people that are going to present today. And this is some of the lovely comments that we have had on internet. So thank you so much for your lovely comments. It really means a lot to us. This is how the webinar will go. So we are going to start with the registrations. I will be talking for around 5 to 10 minutes. The first person to go will be Elena Díaz at 3:40. At 3:55 will be Ester Borín. Then will be Esmeralda Salgado. At 4:25, Stefano Pianiagini. He has just emailed me that he's running a bit late, so hopefully he will be on time. Otherwise, we'll move Ana Carrasco instead of Stefano, and Stefano will be the last one. But I think that we should be fine. And then the last one will be Ana Carrasco. Yeah, I know that Salgado and Stefano, they are very keen to, well, we just allowed 15 minutes to each presenter, but I know that both of them, they want to go a bit longer for 20 minutes. So we are very happy about that. So, but we are aiming to finish around 5 o'clock. So let me tell you a bit about myself. I'm the one hosting, and it has been an absolutely privilege. I'm very honored to be hosting this webinar for Central South Consortium. I am Spanish from the south of Spain. I'm sure that you have noticed my accent. I've been living in this country for 20 years, although some people think that I'm here on holidays because of my accent, but no, 20 years, 18 years now. I'm a very proud head of Spanish of a Pante school. And I'm also an A-level examiner, has been an examiner for over 12 years. And I'm also the lead practitioner for Central South Consortium. Here is my email in case that you need anything, and I'm very happy to help you. So now I'm going to introduce you to everyone in this webinar. The first presenter that we're going to have is Elena Díaz. Elena Díaz is from Castellón. She has been living in this country for 21 years. She's an experienced head of department at Bedlington Academy. She's skilling English as a second language, coaching, linguistics, and translation. Elena is very popular on Twitter, and as you can see here, she went on Twitter and she asked her followers to decide which one of all the things that she does, she will talk about. And she got 115 people voting, and they voted for the 20 keys that she's going to talk about that at 3:40. Our next presenter at 3 doesn't work. I don't know why. Can I go to the next one? Yeah, let me go to the next one. Okay, yeah, there we go. Our next presenter is Ester Borín. Ester Borín will be talking to us at 3:55. She's originally from Girona, and she's a Spanish teacher, but not just Spanish, not just from Castellano. She's also teach Catalan, and she works at Cardiff University. She has more than 20 years experience. She's passionate about teaching languages through cooking. So as you can see here, Esther came to my school to do a workshop about tortilla española, Spanish omelette, and very, very successful. And she's going to talk about new technology and games at languages lessons. Okay, so that is Esther. We can wait for you, Esther. And after Esther will be Esmeralda Salgado. Esmeralda will be talking at 4:10. She's head of MFL at King's Ely. She's passionate about the use of digital tools and collaborative projects among the school in order to enhance the teaching and learning experience in the classroom. Esmeralda, we can wait. We can wait for you. So the next one after Esmeralda is going to be Stefano. Stefano, I hope that you like what I've done for you. There you go, you're wrong. Stefano Pianiagini. He's our Italian Conti. As you can see here, Stefano was the one editing the Conti, the language team, the Italian from Conti. Teachers absolutely love Stefano resources, and lately he has been sharing his cooking skills. So we can't wait to see Stefano later. I'm not sure what is he going to talk about. It's a surprise, so we'll see. And the last presenter that we're going to have coming all the way from Barcelona is Ana Carrasco. Ana Carrasco works at Cardiff University, and she has also more than 20 years of experience teaching undergraduates at Cardiff University. And she's going to talk about why languages outreach school activity carried out by the School of Modern Foreign Languages at Cardiff University to promote, please, can we get the microphones off, please? To promote the visibility, microphones off, thank you. To promote the visibility, uptake, and profile of modern languages in schools. Okay, so this is all the presenters. Please be kind if something goes wrong. We are teachers. I am not IT expert, and we are just all volunteers. Yeah, so just be polite if something goes wrong and just keep calm. Loads of people are asking me, are you recording this event? Are you sharing the presentations? Yes, I am. I am recording. Just make sure, please, that you either, if you haven't done it, email me, or you find me in social media and you send me your email address. So I will add you to the Microsoft Teams group that I have created, and I will get all the presentations and I will get the recording there for you. Okay. And let me remind you again the order in which one we're going to go. And I think that we're going to start a bit early, actually, because yeah, like 2 minutes ready. If Elena is ready, okay. So please, just to remind you, microphones off. And are we all ready? Preparados. So our first one is Elena Díaz. Just a second. So,
can you see that?
Just a second, Elena. Stop sharing, yeah? Okay. Yes. Yes. Can we also switch off the camera so Elena could go? And I'm going to switch off my camera also, Elena. And
Can you see my presentation?
No, Elena, you need to share. I think you need to share the screen.
I'll try a different way.
yeah, we could see now.
That's working.
Fantastic. Can you see?
I'm going to switch off my microphone, Elena, so it's all you. Okay?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we could hear you.
Brilliant. Can you see me?
Yeah, we could see you and we could hear you, Elena.
Oh, well. Right, so thank you so much for that lovely introduction, and thanks to Valle for organising. This is really exciting. It's lovely. It's always lovely to be able to share. On the screen, you've got a photo of me when I looked a lot better than I do now. You've also got my Twitter handle in case you want to find me. If you don't want to write it down, all you have to do is try to take a photo of that QR code, and it'll take you to my Twitter. And from my Twitter, you've also got a link to my blog. So all of the resources that you see in this presentation today are going to be in my blog if you want to go and find them. If there's anything that you can't find, just get in touch and I'll get it for you. It might be that it's sort of buried in my blog, so I'll just get it. I'll send it for you. So today I'm going to talk about the 20 keys. It's not something that I thought was much to share, I suppose, the first time I shared it, but lots of people have liked it on Twitter, and thousands and thousands have been to the blog to take the resources, and they are now using the 20 keys in their departments quite successfully. So I'm pleased that they asked me to share, because I think it's really helping some departments. So the 20 keys is all about assessment and retrieval practice. So I'll just explain to you what they are. I came up with the 20 key system because I was trying to find a way to turn languages into something easy to digest for my students. Now, I was looking at languages a bit like you can see that picture on the screen with the cables. I thought languages were just too complex, too big for students to digest. So what I did was one day on a Friday night, I sat down and I thought, what do the students need in order to be able to get the top grades? I'm going to synthesize that into a streamlined, simple system that they can then apply themselves. And I'm going to teach them to use this in a mix and match approach. So I was using my thinking was around the Pareto principle, which says that in many ways you can create the conditions so that 20% of effort yield 80% of results. Okay, so my idea was I'm going to teach them only a small part of language, a small part of the Spanish language, and I'm going to teach them a way to mix and match and combine these small pieces of the language, these 20 keys, in a way that they can create that 80% of the language. So in a way that they can create not 80%, but a bigger amount of language from memory spontaneously. That's what I wanted. I never wanted my students to memorize chunks, as in paragraphs. So what I thought is I would just teach them that 20% and then teach them to use it. So it's a system that I use. The 20 keys are all examples of complex-ish language, some more complex than others. I teach the keys gradually, so I don't teach them all at the beginning of the year. I just sort of introduce one at a time. All my resources revolve around the 20 keys. So everything that I design is based on that. I plan to revisit the 20 keys all the time. So they're constantly being revisited. And there's only 20, so there's a finite amount. And that's really important for the students. I use them for planning, like for my planning and for my marking. I also get students to use them for planning and marking, and I'll show you later an example of how you do that. And I am very keen on using metacognition to help students learn to use the keys effectively. So I'll show you some examples of that as well. I'm going to talk about 4 main sort of pillars of the 20 keys and show you some examples. So the first one is the keys themselves. So if I just show you what the keys are for GCSE, there's 20 of them. I'll just give you just a couple of seconds so you can read through. So I reckon that if you have most of those or all of those in an essay, that you will have an essay that's complex and that you'll have an essay that's detailed, because you can't possibly have all of those without having lots of detail in your essay. And same with your speech. At Key Stage 3, we don't have 20, we have 10. They're the ones in front of you. And as I said, students learn them gradually, and we just build up, we add them on. The second pillar of how I use the 20 keys is the mark sheet. So I'll just show you what they look like, and then later on what I use them for. So this is the Key Stage 4 mark sheet. I'm going to go into detail so you can have a proper look at it. This is the Key Stage 3 mark sheet on the left-hand side. They look very similar. If we just go back, they look very similar. So I'll just go into a bit more detail as to what they are. In front of you, what we have is a summary of all the AQA mark schemes. So one day I just sat down with all the AQA mark schemes and I thought, there's too many of them. Students are not going to remember them. I'm not going to remember them. So I need to turn them into one that students can remember easily. So that's what I did, and this is what came out of that. So when I mark a piece, students get a mark for communication. Well, a grade. They get a grade for communication. They get a grade for accuracy and a grade for range and grammar. Those 3 grades later on average, and that will be what comes out in the grade, in the final grade. So if, for example, they get a grade 2 for communication, a grade 3 for accuracy, and a grade 4 for range and grammar, then that will average as a grade 3. The range and grammar grade is calculated by how many of the 20 keys they hit in the piece. So I just count them. I'll just show you how I do that. There's also some general advice the sort of thing that you get sick of writing on essays all the time. So I just typed it up and put it in there. The top one is the Key Stage 3. The bottom one is the Key Stage 4. And then at the bottom, there's a space for students to do some to do some reflection. So this is what the Key Stage 3 one looks like. That's the Key Stage 4. So I'm just trying to check the time to make sure I'm not talking too much. Got 10 minutes. So this is the Key Stage 3. On the top section, I will give students one sentence to translate or one little exercise to do that is based on a mistake that everybody has made in the class. And that will be self-marked. In the correct section, I will give them one word that they've misspelled, well, actually 2 words that they've misspelled, and they will have to write that word, copy it out 3 times in Spanish, once in English. And in the perfect section, they will have to write a sentence based on one of the keys that they haven't used. I will tell them which key this is. And the sentence actually will be on the board in English, so that I can then just give them the Spanish and they can mark it without me having to do any extra work. This is the Key Stage 4 version. So EBI sentences is one of the 20 keys that they haven't completed, and I'll tell them which one it is. Correct is the words that they've got wrong, so 3 times in Spanish, once in English. And perfect is an idea of something that they should do to make their essay better. I'll just show you an example here of a marked piece. So everything that is a key is highlighted in green, both on the essay and on the keys themselves. I picked 2 words to put on the correct, to write 3 times in Spanish, once in English. On the perfect, I give them an idea of something that they haven't done in the essay that they should do to make it better. And then I decide from this grid here what grade they've got for communication, accuracy, and then I just count up the keys, range and grammar, and I average out the grade and just write it here at the top. The key that, one of the keys that they haven't done becomes their EBI sentence. So if they haven't done idiom, for example, then there will be a sentence on the board when we do the feedback that uses idiom, and they'll have to translate it where it says EBI sentences. Here's another example of one that's already been completed by the student. So the EBI sentence is a sentence using a negative. I gave her that sentence. These are the 3 in Spanish, ones in English, although she only did 2. She got told off for that. And then here the perfect ideas for this time, it was that she didn't use espero que sea, so I said, right, use it. And then she just wrote a sentence with it. Her grades were 6 for communication, a little bit of 7, 6 for accuracy, and a 5 for the keys, because I counted up and there were 9. So that averaged out as a 6, which was brilliant at the time. Here's a Key Stage 3 example. So same, this person didn't use future, so they have to use it here at the bottom. There's some general class feedback for everybody, and the 3 times in Spanish, once in English, so the words that they couldn't spell originally. And then the level / grade is just an average of the 3 grades for accuracy, communication accuracy, and range and grammar. There's a video on my blog on how you do this in practice, and the most practical way of doing it. You can find I'm just going to go back. You can find the video in my blog. You can ask me for it, or if you get this presentation, you can just click on it. It's an 8-minute video because it explains in detail what gets keys, etc. But I think it's really useful. So have a look at it. We won't look at it now because we haven't got much time. When I give feedback to the students, I think it's a really important time, I suppose, giving feedback, because it moves their learning on. So I take great care on giving feedback, and this is how I use the key. So if I just show you, this is a PowerPoint that I use with my students. So we have some general class feedback, as you can see here. This is all general class feedback, little exercises. I often give them what I call Miss Diaz's favorite sentences. These come straight from their essays. They've been marked, and what they have to do with them is just turn them into English. They serve as a good model of what a good student would produce. And these are the sentences that are on the board. So the EBI sentences come from here. So a student that hasn't included negatives, I would have highlighted negatives in pink for them, and they would have to write this in Spanish on their sheet, and it's self-marked, which is my favorite kind of marked. Okay. This is just another example. Another thing that I do to give feedback with the keys is once I give the essays back, I ask students to number the key with the number that they have here, just so I know that they can identify why it is that they got credit for a bit of language. I'll skip ahead. This is how I use them for planning. So basically it's just a planning sheet for essays. So the students plan their essay, but they have the 20 keys in front of them, and they would add the 20 keys on the right hand side, whereas on the left hand side they would write down the content. So here they would say what I'm going to say. On the right hand side they would say I'm going to use this key here. And then all students have 5 examples of each key that I expect that they will learn over the 3 years of GCSE. This is the Key Stage 3 version of that. Again, this is on the website, you can get it from there or from me. We do lots of little matchy up exercises to get them used to using the keys and seeing examples and what they mean. This is an example of an exercise that we call grow my sentence. So we give them a short sentence and they use the keys to grow them. And then I don't think I've got very long. If I can just check the time. I've got 5 minutes. I can show you this. I hope you can still see this. So when I model how to write a paragraph, this is an activity that I use for students. This is a paragraph that I write for them in front of them, and I talk them through my thinking as I'm writing it. But one of the things I do is I highlight in green. After I finish writing this paragraph for them, I highlight in green what gets them keys, and they have a chat about it. In fact, we talk about what gets keys all the time. And then finally, very quickly for retrieval, I've got 2 main ideas and they're kind of the same. So one of them is this PowerPoint. If I just make it run, but if you can't, it doesn't matter. It's just a PowerPoint that moves on every 2 seconds and tests them on the vocab that's involved in the keys, on those 5 examples of each of the keys. So the students see this PowerPoint at the beginning of the lesson. As soon as they come in, they turn to the back of the book and they look at the PowerPoint. If they know the key that comes up in front of them, if when the answer comes up, they've got the key right, they give themselves a tick, as you can see on the screen here. If they don't get it right, nothing, they don't give themselves anything. And at the end of the PowerPoint, which takes about 5-6 minutes, they count how many ticks they've got. They write it here on the right hand side, and then they plot it on this graph at the bottom. Now this girl was really good at this, so she always got really high marks, but most of the time the graph just gets, obviously they get higher and higher, and children can see their progress really well. And then my very last idea is you can actually do this with Quizlet. You don't have to put together a PowerPoint if you haven't got the time, and that would look a bit like, I just click on this, it can't download it. Basically you just go to Quizlet and use the play function. See if it wants. Use the play function and do the same thing. Students can just award themselves a tick every time they get a key right, and then sort of try and count and try and get more every time. Now that was very quick. I think I'm vaguely on time. So if you have any questions, please get in touch. There's my PowerPoint there. That QR code on the top left is my Twitter handle, but you can get in touch through there. And on the right hand side, you've got my blog, my general blog, and also the link to the space where I keep all the 20 keys. So I hope that was useful. If you do use it, let me know, because I always like to hear when people do. Okay. And that's me.
Thank you so much, Elena. Very useful. Can't wait to use it with my students. Esther, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, Esther.
Ready? Just a second. I'm going to put, yes.
Okay, all yours.
I'm going to put the camera on. Yes.
And the camera off.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to start to sharing the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, I hope that you see, I hope that everybody sees this PowerPoint. Yes?
Yeah, we could see it, Esther, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. I'm going to put on the slideshow mode. Okay, I hope that you're still continuing to see that the PowerPoint, because I split into screens. I don't know if Jodel is over here, but it's like one of the reasons that I have two screens is because of Jodel, and it's a life changing. Well, he has to know that he was right. He's a life changer, having two screens to work with. And one of the things that I want to go through this afternoon and say thank you for inviting me to that webinar, and as well for the lovely presentation that you did before from all of us. The thing that I want to try to show you, so bits and bobs about things that maybe you can use for retrieval on your classroom without using paper. Due this year, it's quite tricky, the situation for using paper and be too much in contact with the students because of the situation that we have, and because most of the time we have like bubble groups that they have to move to isolate, or maybe they have to move at home due COVID positive and other things. And suddenly it's like we have like students at home, students at the classroom, and it's quite crazy for all of us. And I want to show you like maybe a few things that can help to us to like having more free time, or do the things like without too much time consuming, because I'm sure, and that's the reason that I'm putting that Bitmoji as well, because I think that it's a nice thing that maybe, I don't know if Esmeralda will explain later before or not. It was one of the things that, thanks to all the webinars that I was being during all the summer, it's one of the things that I love to use, the Bitmojis, because it's always a nice thing like to cheer up the PowerPoint, or maybe like give some quick feedback to our students. The reason that I put this one, I don't know how you're feeling, but I have the feeling that this term, it's like 7 years on Tibet nowadays, okay? Because you're feeling like quite overwhelmed, quite tired, because we're doing the things like 2 or even 3 times differently, and all of the workload of everybody, I'm sure that it's double or even triple in some cases. And the things that I want to try to show you quite roughly and fast, few apps or a few tools that you can use on internet that you can embed on your Google Classroom, or maybe on Microsoft Teams, or maybe use alone for doing some kind of retrieval, or maybe like as a review. One of the first ones that I want to use is WordWall. Okay, WordWall, it's a free tool. It has like a white canvas that looks like an 80s game. Okay, and the students, they don't need to register, and allows to track what the student is doing. Okay, for this, I'm gonna try. Yes, I hope that you see this website, that you can use like different games and embed different games on there, and you can put those games as I click with the image, and directly like puts you on the game that you want to use. One of the things is that I want to show you about WordWall. It's a free tool. It's really easy to use, but one rookie mistake that I did. Okay, it just allows to you to put 5 different kind of activities. After that, you can repeat, and you can, if you want, you can make different them. Okay, but the thing that makes don't do the life quite easy, WordWall, it's that doesn't leave to you to do more than 5 different activities. And one of the things that I'm doing, it's like I having like 2 or 3 different email addresses to being able to use different activities. That's why I'm saying that has these pros. The pros that it's free, it's easy to use, and it's really nice and engage really quickly the students, and it allows to track the progress that they're doing. The cons, the 5 activities, and you have to be careful about this. The kind of activities that you can do, it's massive. Again, if you want to pay the premium site, you have more chances to use everything, and after that you can have like more chances to have like tons of different activities. If you use the free one, that is the one that I'm using, you only have 5. After that you can change them, but you have to be careful which ones you want to use. Okay, and I put this kind of like learning apps versus WordWall, because I'm sure that Esmeralda, that she's like the master of learning apps, she's going to explain you later about learning apps and WordWall. And I just wanted to put this kind of comparison, because I think that sometimes it's good to explain to someone, to say, okay, that app, it's good, but maybe these are the one, or I'm sure that these are the one that it's learning apps you're going to find better than WordWall. Because learning apps, you don't have like any cut, and it's a free tool and allows audio and other things. Board wall, I recommend it. It's really easy to use. It's like 5-minute jobs or even less, but it has that problem that you can use 5 different activities. The other one that I'm normally using like for retrieval and practicing, it's Edpuzzle. What we can do with Edpuzzle, again, Edpuzzle is a free tool. That's the link for Edpuzzle. Basically, the activities that you're doing, it's through video resources. And the thing that you can do is you take any kind of video from YouTube, for example, and after that, you start to put the activities in there. You can do open questions, open question answers. You can do multiple choices, fill in the gaps, and etc. And you put as many activities that you want. The only cons that I find on Edpuzzle, I show you how it looks like Edpuzzle. Okay, for example, you can review everything and you can use for retrieval practice. For example, this one from Volver, it's one of the ones that I use for one of the workshops that I did with Valle last year about review on A-levels for Volver film, for example. And after that, it's like you can do other kind of activities, and the thing that you can put, it's make them easier or more challenging. It depends what you want to do. The good thing, it's like you only have to send to your students on a small a link to there. It's like you can put on their email addresses, or you can embed on your on the PowerPoint, and after that they click the link and they go directly to the activity. When you leave the activity open, you are able to track the results and the progress from each student, and as well you can see who's the one that did the work or not. Things that maybe has as a cons Edpuzzle. One of the things is that it only allows you to use 20 activities, but Edpuzzle doesn't have a premium version at this moment. They thought that it's a good thing still having that application as free, but the only thing is like you have 20 activities, and the thing that you can do, it's like at the moment that maybe you arrive at 20, the thing that you can do is save as a PDF one of your previous activities, delete it, and after that upload a new one. Okay, and as a really like a visual like a chart, I put for you for like if it is free, if it's an intuitive canvas, that it is, and it's really easy to use and allows audio. Okay, and I put the badge because it's one of the good good tools to use in that case. For example, one of the other ones that I use a lot, it's Flipgrid. For what I use Flipgrid, for example, Flipgrid, it's a free tool as well, and this free tool I'm using to check the speaking and listening for the students. One of the good things that you can do with Flipgrid, for example, it's like you send a code to your students. That code has an activity, and the students, they upload a video. They can record the video from their phones, from the tablets, from the desktops, or from the laptop, the kind of like surface or resource that they want to use. What is the other good thing that has Flipgrid? You can put the feedback immediately under the video that they upload for you, and you can do an audio feedback, or you can do a video feedback, or you can do a bright feedback, or if it's not, you can do an overweight feedback for all of them, or send an email to them. It's one of the good tools that I'm using. I'm going to show you how it looks like Flipgrid, but I'm not going to show you the one that, if it's opened, yes, finally it's open. It's making slowly the internet now. The one that I'm not going to use it or show you, it's the one that I'm use with the university code, because there's the faces of the students, and for privacy reasons I don't want to use it. That one, it's my private one that I use from Gmail. Again, it's a free tool. If you have to open one Flipgrid account, use it as an educator, because it's completely free and it allows you to doing the feedback, and as well to click if you want that the activity, it's going to have a deadline to do it, and after that you want to give the feedback to all of them at the moment that all the videos they will be there. And as well, have a look that you press the correct privacy settings, because maybe you don't want that the other students have the chance to see the videos from the other students, and maybe you just want that the students see the videos from their own videos, not the other ones, and they can see only their feedback. Okay, and for example, you click that code and immediately go to the task that you have to do. That there's instructions, and you can timing the video that you want that the students doing from 1 minute until 15 minutes. What I find you really easy to use and really good to use for about Flipgrid. It allows to you to review a lot their speaking that nowadays maybe could be quite challenging because we couldn't be with them face to face and with all the issues that they have to use a mask, or maybe we have to have the 2 meters distance. It's a good way that they can still be confident and record themselves and see how they progress in their language skills. Okay, and they can practicing, and it's really good to practicing them for any presentations or any small speaking exam, or maybe formative tests that you want to do through the year. That it's one of my favorite tools that I'm usually use as even as a starter activity, or maybe a closing plenary activity as well. And it's really good as a retrieve. And normally I'm using like at the university, for example, at Cardiff University, we have the premium sets from Mentimeter. But to be honest, everybody can use the free tool. It has more or less the same things. I'm going to show you the comparison premium versus free. And the thing, it's like I don't normally use more than 4 or 5 slides because I just want to use it as a starter activity. You can embed one full lesson there because now allows video Mentimeter, for example. Okay, for this, we're going to play together and you're going to see how it works and how it looks like Mentimeter. If you can scan with your phones this QR code, you're going to go directly to this presentation. Or if it's not, you can go to www.menti.com and introduce this code that it's 9413724. Introduce that code, or scan the QR code with your camera from your smartphone, and you can be inside the presentation. Valle, can you let me know if you are inside the Mentimeter for click on the image and I go directly to the Mentimeter presentation?
Would you like me to do to click in the Mentimeter?
Yes, well, scan the QR code, and after that, it's like with your phone. If you can scan the QR code, you're gonna go to the Mentimeter presentation because we're gonna play together how we use in Mentimeter. Okay.
Esther, I don't have the QR code on my phone, but Salgado, I'm sure. Salgado, do you have it? I'm sure that Salgado could help you here.
Yes,
Yes,
I did
I
have
leave it to
it.
you, Salgado.
You have it? Okay.
Not yet, because I'm multitasking.
Yes, no, I'm waiting. Let me know when step by step the people is inside the presentation, and I'm gonna click the image and go to the presentation, because if it's not, we're gonna lose the QR code. And
just wait a minute. I just need to enter the code.
Okay, you are in. For example, maybe it's like someone else, maybe that with
I'm in.
You are in? Okay, fantastic. Okay, I hope that someone else is in there, and I'm gonna click the image.
Another person called Andrea. Also, she's in. Also, you have a few people that are in.
Fantastic. Okay, it's because it's like I couldn't see when I'm.
In Carmela.
Okay, now we are on Mentimeter presentation, and I want to ask you, if you have to go to a paperless classroom, how do you feel? It's like the option 1 or the option 2, for example. Okay, I see that we have some happy faces, not the ones that they are crying. That's a good news as well. Okay. Okay, we have one that is quite sad. Okay. Okay, we have more answers that we're feeling okay and quite confident for going paperless. Why I'm showing you this? Because I want to show you that you can play directly as the students can do it, and it's quite easy to use it and pretty fast. And that's a good thing. You can make the phones as an ally. Okay, and if you don't live to use the phones to your students, you always can use the iPads or tablets that you have at the classroom. Okay, and you don't have to use paper. That is one of the options that live to use Mentimeter, for example. You can put this kind of like rankings or multiple choice questions. You can put as a quiz as well if you want that day doing the proper correct answer. And after that, you put the students on competition mode. That it's quite funny to see them, okay? If I ask to you nowadays, what is your favorite online tool? Can you write for me which one it is your online favorite tool? Because you're going to see another kind of activity that you can do on Mentimeter, and you can see for what you're going to use or for what you could use later on, or you can recycle it later on for another thing as well. Okay.
I can tell you the answers if you cannot see them.
Okay, I see Gymkit and Quizlet. Okay, I think that it's okay. Quizlet, Gymkit, Kahoot, learning apps. Okay, you can see that, for example, the word that it's the bigger one, it's the one that has more answers, for example. Okay, it's like how smaller is the word, it has less answers. That kind of like cloud word, it's really nice because, for example, when we are teaching languages, you can use them to ask, for example, what's your brighter color, or bright two colors in Spanish, or something else, and you can start to see the answers, and you always can save that cloud for use at the classroom, for decorate that one, or maybe for do some review when you see the spelling as well for them. Okay, and it's a kind of an easy thing to break in the ice and ask why you put this and why you use that, these kind of things, and you are breaking the ice for them, for example. Okay, I see that. How do you think if you can increase, how you think that you can increase the students' engagement? Okay, real life cultural links, for example, by making lessons relevant, using more quizzes, use a variety of activities. That one is a kind of open answer question for what you can use this one to make something a tiny bit longer, a small chunks of a small brighten paragraph that you can ask to them. Is like, why we are writing this and not this other question? And for example, what do you think about this and that? And you're going to start debate. It always helps to you to break in the ice. They can start to speaking. Mostly when you have part of your classroom at home and part of your classroom maybe on the physical classroom, that sometimes could be quite challenging. That tool you can see that they can use on live at the same moment, and they can have the same answers, the ones that they are at home, for example, and they don't feel like that they are excluded from the real lesson, for example. Okay, and you can see this. That is the end of the presentation of the Mentimeter. And that's why I told you that I'm using as like a small tool in order to show the students some small bites that you can start to break in the ice and starts to put more input, or maybe if you want to use as a retrieval practice that day, the Mentimeter tool. What has the Mentimeter? You can put multiple choice, the word cloud, the scales, a ranking, a question and answer. You can embed a quiz. It's left to you to put a quiz. You can do the open-ended questions. You can put a kind of quiz that you have 100 points. You have, for example, a kind of matrix, or the one that who will win, that it's the one that it's the faster one to answer. What's the good thing with Mentimeter? The students, they are anonymous. If you are worried about, I'm running because I know that I have to finish, okay? Maybe there's a couple of tools that I'm not going to be able to show you, but at least you saw Mentimeter, that it's one of my favorite ones. Mentimeter, it's really easy to use. For example, even if you have the free tool, you can see group statistics, you can track errors and success from your students, you can do retrieve practice. The free version, what allows to you a maximum of 2 questions and 5 quiz questions per presentation. But to be like a plenary or a retrieval small tool, I think that it's enough for each lesson. And for example, you can put an audio, or you can use a video that nowadays allows you, that 2 months ago it didn't allows to you to use it. For example, Mentimeter, and you can do this one now that it's quite good. And one of the other good things that has, for example, Mentimeter, you can share from one teacher to another. You don't have to do every week different Mentimeters. You can do one Mentimeter and maybe another colleague of the department can do another one. And after that, you share the Mentimeters and you adapt for your classroom. You can as well duplicate them and see the statistics for each classroom, how it's going, their progression in one to each other. You can save the answers as a PDF or an Excel in order to do statistics. And the most important, okay, I couldn't track the name of the student because it's anonymous what they putting. And maybe I'm worried if they're doing like a kind of bad language, swear words and a bad behavior. It has a tool, Mentimeter, that allows to you to change swear words for emojis. That's a good news, because at least we don't going to see bad language. That's one of the worries maybe in secondary schools. These ones I'm running a lot. I'm just want to show you like Zoom Exerte, but I think that I'm running out of time, and maybe I'm going to have to explain you these other two tools later or another day. Zoom, it's another kind of tool as Microsoft Teams to use it, but Sherte, it's a really good tool, but that's one super con in that one. That it's really time consuming. It's a really good tool, but it's time consuming. But at least I'm quite happy because I had enough time to presenting the three big tools that I wanted to do. I'm gonna stop sharing now because I see that I'm running out of time, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Esther. Very useful. Esmeralda, you ready? ¿Preparada?
Yes, I am.
Oh, all yours. Suerte.
Right, so I can share my screen now.
I can't hear your screen at the moment.
Yeah, I know, because I haven't shared it yet.
Sorry.
Yeah, that will be fine. Yes.
Now I can see it, yeah.
That's it? Can anyone see it? Fantastic. Okay, so I'm very excited to be here. Thank you very much, Valle. Yes, it's always an honor to share ideas, and I always learn something new from everybody. So thank you very much, and please use the if you can the chat just to, for any ideas and anything, because I like reading it afterwards, and actually sometimes I learn a lot from people on how people use things that I'm using a different way. So I'm going to talk today about stickability in the classroom. I'm a firm believer that actually IT can really transform the classroom. And I think the blended learning experience is absolutely fantastic at the moment. And everything that we've learned during the lockdown and all the upskill should be used now in whatever we are doing. And this is my Twitter name at Salgado if you want to find any ideas, and I'll give you as well the name of my blog at the end of the presentation. It was very difficult to think practically how many IT tools to choose from. I'm using quite a lot, but I've managed to reduce it to 6, believe it or not. So let's hope, I've got time to mention all of them. The first one is going to be Flippity. I love Flippity because it allows me to do retrieval practice. We heard a lot about retrieval practice today, and for me is the core of really good teaching, and I think it's the core of making students be there and be engaged in the lesson. So what Flippity does is basically this: you just go to Flippity, it's completely free, and believe it or not, this is all the activities that you can do with Flippity. The only thing you need with it is a Google account, because Flippity uses all the activities using a Google Sheet, basically, Google Sheet. So you don't have a Google account, it won't work. It's very simple how you use it. I'm going to show you how you use it and how you create it now. But what I love about Flippity, that also comes with instructions. If you want to use that one, it will tell you step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very straightforward, and it actually works. And it always comes with a template, and everything you need to do is to change your information. So this is basically what it looks like if you come in. And for the first time, you don't need an account, you don't need anything with it. And I'm going to show you some of the activities on how I use it. From all the activities that you get there, my absolute favorite are the random name picker, the Flippity randomizer, and the scavenger hunt. They got the board game here, but I use Genially for board games. I think that is a little bit easier. They also have the flashcards, but I prefer to use Quizlet for that one there myself. So I'm going to show you what kind of activities you can do, you can have with Flippity. So I'm going to start with the randomizer. Once you create your activity using your Google Sheets, it will create something like this. Okay, so basically you got different columns with the stuff that you put in there. Don't put a lot of columns, otherwise they won't fit. They won't fit in the screen. It looks a little bit messy. And then what you do is basically it's like a little bit of like a fruit machine kind of thing. And what it becomes is with basically different combinations of sentences. I love this one because I do use this in the lesson orally with all the kids. I use this in the lesson with whiteboards. And what we do is that kids, for example, in this particular activity, they have to translate this and conjugate the verb. And it's brilliant because we start from and you can conjugate the verb in the present tense, then we studied in the past tense, then what about the future tense? how can we extend the sentence? So from one little activity that takes literally 5 minutes, you get all type of practice. The mock-up that you can see there is basically the sentence builders I've been working on with the kids. So this is the kids would have already learned this in the lesson, where they would have probably done a vocabulary test, and this is the drilling part of the sequence of my lessons. And so that is one of my favorite ones. The other one I absolutely love is the name picker. So the name picker, when you create the worksheet, basically, which is the spreadsheet looks like this. So the first one, oh, very messy, okay, because I got a lot of the stuff. I don't use the spinner. For that, I use World of Names. I'm not going to talk about World of Names today. What you do then, you got all these different options. So what I do here is just very simple retrieval practice. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Give me a sentence with this. How can you extend that one? Give me another sentence. Can you say this in the past? So basically, you can see, you know, the potential. We do it orally all the time. They can do it in whiteboards. And so this is very simple, just one word after the other. If you come here, you got groups of 2. What it does then is that Flippity takes all the words you put in your spreadsheet and makes them into 13, in this case, groups of 2 words. How do I use in the classroom? So now the kids need to say a sentence, and now they need to include both words in that sentence. Maybe more complicated. The second one, they need to include this word. The third sentence, they need to include this, the 3 of them. I can do this orally. I can do this in whiteboards. Everybody shows this straight away. They can do this in their books, and then straight away, or in their OneNote, and then you go like 30 seconds to write a sentence, and then we move on. I love it because you go to shuffle, then you got all the time different options. Then you can make it more complicated. 3, what about writing a little paragraph or a little sentence using linking words, and make sure that you include these 3 aspects. I use this all the way to A level because you can put the vocabulary from basically any level. And that's what I like from Flippity, the versatility. And you can make it to groups of 4. You can make it, I've done it even with groups of 5. And what I love about this is that you use a snippet tool, you know, in here that you have in your, you know, a snippet tool. What you can do with the snippet tool, you can take a picture of this, copy and paste it, and put it, for example, in a OneNote. And then after all the practice in the lesson for homework, the kids can actually create sentences using the words in the picture. So basically, it leads really nicely to a homework assignment. So that is one of my favorite ones. And the other one I really love is a scavenger hunt. Again, from the same list of words in my Google Sheet, you will create this. This is 14 keys, padlocks, but it could be 10, it could be 20, as many as you want. When you click on it, is again all of my sentence builders vocabulary that I want the kids, especially my low ability kids, to go on over and over and over again. If they go to the little light, what they get is a little bit of help. My help is always the beginning of the spot, the beginning of the sentence, or the word, sorry. That really helps, especially low ability kids. When they get to write and they write it down, okay, and it, you know, they will come up as right or wrong. Because it's wrong, it does, the padlock doesn't open. It's a very nice little activity. And what I wanted to show you very quickly is how this would be embedded into a blended learning experience. So for example, I use OneNote to teach all my lessons. We're very lucky, this is what we use. And for example, this is my lesson from the 5th of October. I also use Bitmojis, like Esther was saying. I think they're brilliant to motivate kids. And then I'm teaching my lesson with a lot of different activities. I give them basically the link of my Flippity activity, and then the kids in pairs sometimes what they do as well is that they practice and with the randomizer if I want them to. Okay, you can see an example of how I can use it for homework, because what I did here, this is basically a photo using the snipping tool, areas. Basically, this is just a photo of that, and then for prep, what they had to do, they had to create sentences in Spanish, including these expressions, and they had all these ones to write. The same ones that we've been doing during the lesson, and they also did in person. A very nice way. They did the randomizer, and then we come back to the normal battle shapes right in the book. So a little bit of blended learning experience for you. So that's one of my first tools. I don't have a lot of time. Let's see. The other one is learning apps. Everybody's talking about. I'm a little bit. I'm sorry, learning apps. It's just such a great tool that I need to talk about it. I absolutely love it. Learning apps. When you click on it, you just need to sign in. It's completely free. It's maybe like what Esther was saying, but you can include audio. And when you come here, you go just to create app, and it all these different type of activities that you can create. It's very intuitive, and it only takes about 5 minutes to create. How do I use that in the lesson? Well, got a lot of different activities you can have here, a lot of different exercises. I'm going to show you a little bit like the listening one. What it does here is the app has got text-to-speech facility, so you type something up, and then what you do is they will create it into audio. So you can hear this.
Hace 3 años trabajaba de canguro para los amigos de mis padres.
And it's a little bit obviously like a computer, but it's quite fast, and the kids actually get used to this, and after they become really good with the audio. So in this case, what they have to do either is as a dictation, write in Spanish, or they can write in English. Again, everything that the kids are hearing is all this stuff that we've been practicing previously with Flipkey, with the whiteboard, with quizzes, basically my sentence builders. Another one that I love about another one of the activities is categorizing the verbs. So this is something I did with the year 9s, and the kids need to say preterite, which first preterite, and then need to be. And underneath there is a picture. Actually, this is a video, and all the imperfect tense, or basically just very good to categorizing different verbs and different endings. I love that one. And what you can do with as well with learning apps, that you can have a matrix of basically of activities. So once you create them, you can put them all together, and you have a sequence of activities telling you, from the easiest to the most difficult if you want to, for example. So that's another one. Yes, so this is basically learning apps for you. I'm going very quickly. Another one that is becoming now my favorite app, Spiral. I learned about this, I think George was with me when we learned about this. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago in the language show. It was a lady from Dubai, I don't remember her name, and this is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love it. Spiral is very similar in a way to Mentimeter that was talking about, but with the added element that you don't need to prepare anything, is zero preparation. You come to spiral.act, you need to open an account, it's free. Once you open an account, you go to home. In here, you got different modalities. Some of them you need to prepare stuff. The one I use all the time is the click by a light. You don't need any preparation. What you do is this, okay? You create a class. You don't need to create names. So the only thing you do is basically, thank you, Joe. I can see you said Laura Causa. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Joe. It's Laura Causa who introduced us to this. Basically, you just add the name of the class. You don't need to enter names. So let's look at this with the test. Once you go there, you want to enter as basically as Esther did. I want to tell you the difference between this and Mentimeter. You just, anyone goes to gospiral.act and press this code. Please, bravo, okay, please, I need just one person, a couple of people just to show how good this is. And I'm using it as an interactive whiteboard. Basically, instead of the normal mini whiteboards I use with the kids. So this has been great as well for kids being in the blending age. Okay? So if you come, is anyone seen? That would be absolutely lovely because I can really show you. Someone goes in. Joe, can you, or Valle, Esther, can you just go to Go Spiral?
Yeah, I will go.
It's brilliant.
Can all of you switch off?
One person, brilliant. So I just want to tell you how easy it is. This is my lesson. Imagine it's Astrid, but you can have all your kids here. Difference with Mentimeter, now you can see the kids' names. I think this is brilliant to avoid situations like anyone writing anything silly. What I do here is I say go, and then I give my question in the lesson. So that be for vocabulary. I went on holidays to Spain, and then you need to translate it into Spanish.
No,
so you just write down whatever you want. It could be any question.
Ma non posso ora, sono on call.
Yeah, so you can write any question there, and each one you press submit. The kids press submit. They do this from the computers, and the answers will appear there. So I don't know, I'm just saying I went to, on holidays to Spain, but you can say whatever. So if you just translate that for me or say something, there you are, I got an answer. At the moment, I can't wait as well that all the answers are there, so the kids can copy the answer from each other. I think this is very important. And so the moment is that they can also be edited all the time. So the kids sometimes, oh, I made a mistake. I can come back and edit it. Then what I do is I reveal the answers and I can see what is right, what is wrong. I can see, okay, this is correct. And it will pick up, there were more, the ones already correct. Can you see the same color? So I can see directly, these are correct, this is brilliant. With the vacaciones, you need to improve. So the child now will be able to improve. Now I want to see who wrote all these things. I can see now the name of the kids. I think it's extremely powerful and requires, now this is correct now, fantastic. And ask another question and the same thing would happen. I think you get the idea. And you need zero preparation, which is why I love it. And this is the kind of thing I've done before with my whiteboards. Now I'm doing it online. Okay, so please tell me by your time and we'll stop. I got some other things there. Quizzes, I'm not going to talk about quizzes. I'm just going to concentrate on carousel learning. This has been my favorite quizzes, new thing that I'm using lately. It's great for retrieval practice, and I'm going to show you great for independent as well. So carousel learning looks like this, and I'm going to show you what's the difference between that and quizzes or another one. You need first to log in. I thought I already had login. Obviously, no. I should pick it up then. Yeah, there you are. And once you are there, you come up with this dashboard. And what you need to do, you upload a question, a question bank. The question bank is basically an Excel document. And in the Excel document, you include all the questions you want to, vocabulary. I use basically my chunks on my sentence builders. And then you need to write on the side basically the topic there. So basically, you can have one spreadsheet with 10 topics in it, okay? When you say create new, they would tell you here the format they want it to be, the spreadsheet. What you do then is that you upload it. And once you upload it, you got a bank of questions. What you do is you go to create one and give it a name. And then you choose which question banks you want to get the questions from. So same by regions and festivals. This is what I loved. Now you say which topics within that. So now you can choose the topics and you see the retrieval practice. You can do 1 week festivals, 1 week region, 1 week, whatever you want to. Then you say, I just want 5 questions. I want this as a starter. Select, and then you select your questions. What it does is from your spreadsheet, creates this for you. Use this as a set topic of my region. So select the ones I want. Okay. And I set 5, so that's going to expect to get from selection, and then I assign it to a group that previously I have uploaded. Now, why is this so great? I just want to show you how it looks from the point of view of the students. What the students would do is the following. I'm going to use Helen Myers, okay, as my example. So I come here. This is Helen Myers. This is my test. Imagine I've progressed 10. Otherwise, will be here forever. And the kids, this is what it was my questionnaire, my quiz. I will have my own business. So this is so mi propia business. So imagine I'm the student and I write this. The student would have completed 10 questions by now. This is an example with one, and this is what I love this resource. Because at the end, what the student can do is actually, you can see I just the things can get the answer that they wrote and the correct answer. And actually, they decide where they correct and they were not correct. With quizzes, automatically it will be corrected. With learning apps, automatically will be corrected. But I think it's very important, very powerful that the kids actually can see who is right or is wrong. Very, very powerful. And so they say, no, I was wrong. There's an element of trust here. I think we need to trust the students. I think it's very good for independent learning to see where they were wrong and to develop basically ownership of their own learning. So I think that is the difference with carousel learning, and I think it's absolutely fantastic, and it has really revolutionized as well my my teaching as well from quizzes. And So that was carousel learning. And then I'm just going to talk very quickly about Genially. There was a wonderful webinar yesterday from Marie Alirod, who is the queen of Genially. I am not the queen of Genially at all, but I use it a lot, and I'm just very, very lazy, because what I do is I use the templates that are already there. So I'm just going to show you in a very, simple way, one of my favorite things that you can do. You can do escape rooms, or you can do board games. So what you do is, when you go to Genially, which is free, there's a premium element of it, but you can do a lot of things with the free one. You come in here, you select basically a template, and the template is this, basically, and the only thing I did is change the information in the little bubbles, and I copy and pasted more because we're only about 10, and I wanted more. This was already there. I just deleted some of the players, and suddenly what I have is an interactive game, which I think this is absolutely fantastic. Just go, my guys. So you come here, and the student, just to give you an idea, what they have to do, this is by year 10s, by year 9s, where they have to translate basically what it was there. And the kids were playing on their own. Sometimes the word is a question, they had to use that. They had to advance through the board, basically translating or answering the questions. So that is one of the things that you can do with Genially, which I think is brilliant. And I definitely wanted, the way I do this is that once you create it, you got this little shared element. So you get the shared element, and you can then go back to your OneNote, for example. This is what I use. And then from the OneNote, the kids access it. And brilliant, it gets embedded into OneNote as well, Genially. So you got this little game within the OneNote, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And you don't need to have any dice or anything like that. And kids are. So I think it is one of the great ones, and allows you to do an up smashing, because what you can do as well is, and I'm going to just show you just how this can be. One of the things that you can do with Genially is escape room. When you do the escape room, you get different, you need to go through different tasks. At the end, you insert a code. One of the things that you can do as one of the tasks is actually insert the embed your learning apps thing. So basically, one of the activities they need to do is something that that was already in learning apps. So I think this is very powerful. So you've got everything of the activities you've been creating, and you put them all together. And I think that there are more things in here. I used it even with my A-levels students. I think I need to be quiet now. I think I managed to talk about everything, which is absolutely fantastic. You will have access to this presentation later on. Later on, it's going to be also on Twitter. But what I will do is that I will put it down in the chat as well, so everybody can have access and explore a little bit some of my my creations. Other ideas, please follow Joe Dale here. Such an inspiration for the MFL communities. Please do that as well. The MFL Tutorati is basically a Padlet I created in the lockdown, and there are a lot of resources there from a lot of people around the world, but a lot of escape rooms and Genialis. Maria Lirod put all her Genialis in there. There is a link here to Julia Morris and Maria Lirod tutorials about how to maximize Genially. I just gave you a little bit of flavor, and then the idea is that you can go there and play. I'm very lazy with Genially, and I only use the things that are free, basically. And I got some how-to videos in my blog as well. That you got the code here, and remember, everything can be turned into QR code. So everything, put anything in a QR code and use treasure hands. And I think, there are no time for questions. I'm aware of that. This is my blog, and you can always have a look at what the ideas are. And I think I finished it all.
Thank you so much, Esmeralda.
Yes,
thank you so much.
It was very, very rushed, but I think I went through.
It was fantastic. Thank you so much.
But I think I went through everything. So apologies, as I said, it was very, very, very rushed. And I just realized that my camera was off, but you could see the presentation.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Adios. Adios. Gracias. Stefano, are you ready? ¿Preparado? Stefano, I think that you need to switch on your microphone. Switch on your microphone. Stefano, your microphone. Microphone. Yeah, do we have a Stefano? There we go. Stefano? Carmen said, you're cooking dinner, Carmen. Stefano? I'm going to try the phone. Okay. Stefano, you need to switch on your microphone. Let me see, Stefano, where is Stefano?
He's here. He's in the attendance.
I know that he's here, but he said this microphone is off. Oh, Stefano.
He's definitely cooking.
Should we keep should we start Ana Carrasco and then to leave Stefano for the end? I don't know what to do. Let me see the.
I would do that just to then probably.
Yeah.
He may have some technical issues.
Yeah,
so
we could do that.
And then yeah.
Okay, we do that. Ana, you ready? Ana Carrasco.
Hi.
Oh, Ana, but then you go. Leave Stefano for the end.
I don't mind at all.
Oh, perfect.
Let
Very
me
glad
see
to
if
have
I
you
can-
here.
If
And
I
I'm
can
going to
share.
switch off my camera, okay?
Okay. Just
And I
one
leave my
second, I get-
microphone.
Can you see the presentation?
No, the only thing that I could see is you.
Okay. Let's see again. Try again. Share content. Should work now.
Yeah, I could see now. Lovely.
Yes.
Mucha
Oh.
suerte.
Gracias. Well, my name is Ana Carrasco and I'm a lecturer in Cardiff University in the School of Modern Languages. And I was very lucky that I've been invited today to share with you the kind of activities we do in the School of Modern Languages as outreach school activities to promote the intake of languages in secondary schools. Before COVID, we used to visit schools to give a little talk about the importance of taking languages as part of GCSEs and A-levels. We used to do taster sessions as well, and we were very privileged to have final year students coming with us as well to talk to pupils in secondary schools about their experience. Unfortunately, with COVID, we've had to move our activities online. And we are offering schools either the possibility of watching a recorded video about a talk on the importance of taking languages, or like I did Monday, I had a session like we're having today on Teams with a school on North Wales, and I had with me a final year student as well. The idea of these talks is to end with certain, ideas that pupils have about languages in general. And I would like just to go through the presentation that, we normally show to students. We try to make them see that languages, they make career sense, they make educational sense, and they make personal sense. We tell them, that obviously languages are vital for effective trade, diplomacy and soft power, all of which will be essential to the UK's future success. The idea as well to make them see how relevant languages are is to put things into percentages, put a reality into percentages, end up with the idea that everyone in the world speaks English. I don't need to speak, another language. And about, the trade as well, that 75% of the international trade is with non-English speaking countries. We make them see as well the reality that we are facing with Brexit and the shortage of linguists that the UK is going to have in front of this Brexit scenario. the idea as well is to make them see that they don't have to opt for a degree in modern languages. It's as well to make them see that if you want to do engineering, if you want to do social sciences, medicine, it is good for you to have a language on your CV. And to show them that, we give them as well the figures of the program that we have in Cardiff University, Languages for All. Languages for All is a program offered to all undergraduates and postgraduate students in Cardiff University. And we've got students from different disciplines, medicine, music, and as you can see the figure, we've got about 1,356, undergraduate students taking languages because they have realized about the asset it is having a language on their CV as well, because they're highly valued for employers. And just, to open their eyes a bit, we talk about as well the different, career opportunities that they can have, because there's a huge misunderstanding that with languages you can only go into interpreting, teaching and translation, with many of us love doing. There's nothing wrong about that, but it's about making them realize that there are lots of opportunities with language as well. And we give them, a list of different options that they can have with languages. And because, it's all very well said from the, from my side of a teacher, preaching about, the power of languages and the importance of languages. We offer them as well the testimonial of our graduates as well, what some graduates have done with degrees in modern languages. So you can see we've got a financial, we've got a player liaison officer for Cardiff City Football Club. This graduate is working for a multilingual, working as a multilingual commercial assistant for Manufacturing UK, United Nations, IT analyst as well. And these last two that I'm going to show you, they work on manga, translators in manga and video games as well, something that it is really appealing for the young generation as well. So this is what we, what we are trying to do as outreach. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And so this is what we are trying to do in the School of Modern Languages as outreach school events. If you have any other ideas about, things that we could incorporate, you are more than welcome, to get in touch with us in the School of Modern Languages. And if you want as well, to give a talk in one of the schools you're working at, we will very gladly do so. I'm going to write the email in the chat as well, where you can reach us. And that's all on my behalf. Thanks ever so much for giving me the space and the opportunity to have a chat with you about these activities that we are doing in the School of Modern Languages. Thanks very much. Muchas gracias a todos.
Oh, yes.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much, Ana. Thank you so much. So, Stefano, are you ready now?
Gracias. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, gracias a Dios. Hola. Perfecto. No, es que no sé qué pasa. I don't know what happened. He says we ran into a problem just now. It's okay. One second, because I have to read. Let me retrieve my presentation. Oh, here it is. I'm so pleased. The last second issue, always.
Stefano, people thought that you were cooking.
Oh, no, it's not about cooking. It was my computer was okay, fine. Oh, okay. Here I am.
So,
hello.
Okay, let me see if we could see your presentation. At the moment, I could see the presentation from Anna.
Can you see me? Ah, okay. So
yeah, we can see you and we can see the presentation.
Aspetta.
Okay, now we can see you, yeah?
Can you see me?
Yeah, we
Hello.
can see you. Hello,
Please.
yeah.
Hello, please see me, see you. Valle. Un secondo, Valle. Estoy en mi... A ver, I'm sorry. I don't know, I was talking... Okay, here I am. Oh,
There
that's it.
Oh, there you are. Fantastic.
Oh, míralo. Oh.
Vale.
Okay, I'm going just to take a couple of minutes. Hola, ¿puedo?
Sí, sí.
Vale. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes introducing myself and why I've changed my teaching, and then I'm gonna share a few ideas that I hope you're gonna find useful. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate and be part of this great webinar. My fantastic, beautiful colleagues have presented ideas about remote learning and GCSE. I am going to be an outsider, and I'm going to present effective strategies that I consistently implement in my Key Stage 3 classes, especially focused on year 7, because I believe this is a crucial year for many factors. Because GCSE, A-level, and as Anna Carrasco just mentioned, the university uptake of languages, these all start in year 7. And if we do not foster a love of learning languages and confidence in speaking, then we are going to lose these kids for good, okay? So before I move into my classroom, I would like to share with you those who most inspired me along my career. And first of all, it was Lisa Madden. Lisa Madden is my PGC mentor, and she's the very first one who introduced me and fostered a love in languages. Then I would like to also mention Jay Compton, because during my PGC, I met Jay Compton, and with this theory of the retrieval practice, he has been a massive inspiration for me. And obviously, last and not least, when I met Gianfranco Conti, and because obviously introduced me to the implicit world. So the biggest benefit that I had experienced through the quantification in my lesson is that I now sometimes enjoy teaching, and I often have fun. I believe laughter is a huge help within the learning environment. And when we talk about games, we can just reduce their meaning from the mere and simple ludic aspect, having fun, because it's something more. There's something more out there. And I'm going to show you a bit of it. So let's go inside my classroom, and I'll start with the title of my lesson. My main objective is that people develop a question answer ability and automatize this process. We are always talking about learning objectives, all, many, some, red, yellow, green, orange, green, or whatever. But truly, the lesson objective is one. I ask a question, can you answer it? So in order to develop this kind of automaticity, I always include the title. I always make a question the title of my lessons. Okay, the technique I use to consolidate this process is the register routine. So every lesson with year 7, for a good 1 2 months during the register, I ask each student's question on what we've been doing so far. Okay, this is one of the most powerful implicit techniques you can put in place. It was criticized sometime in Twitter that as a waste of time. I can ensure that it is not. It might take 20 minutes the first time, but now my register routine don't take more than 6 to 8 minutes. And it's actually the same amount of time that of a starter activity. So while they're doing it, I am doing it now, for example, once a week, perhaps once a fortnight. But what I've created is that I created a safe learning environment where all the children have a chance to go, where I train them to be respectful of mistakes, where I immediately tackle any kind of laughing over other mistakes, where they can learn from listening to each other. So, and also it can be easily differentiated, because I might ask ¿Cómo estás? To the low achievers, and then I move to ¿Cómo te llamas? To others, and then I'm going to implement question of a question. I also arrive maybe to the high achievers, where I ask all the question and they can answer all the question like in one go. So the purpose is actually to develop this kind of try it for a while if I've never tried it, because it's extremely effective. Now we're always talking about phonics, yeah, because phonics is surely a massive current topic, and there are free portals out there that they share amazing resources about topics, and they are great. But we can also teach phonics simply through games, through the tedious repetition of many slides. So before I start sharing all the activities, I would like to say that I am Roman, and I know that the Greek was the one who invented the wheel. So I do not intend to reinvent it, but I'm going to take other ideas in order to ride my metaphorical chariot as a Roman. Okay, so let's see. So phonics, the very first game, one of the games I use in lesson to teach, for example, vowels. I remember I was in a conference in Liverpool, and there was this teacher introducing this game. And when I saw it, I said, this won't work. You know, when you see those games, you say, this is impossible, that's gonna work. Anyway, it's just a very funny game, and you're allowed just to use 5 vowels in this conversation, which is A, E, I, O, U. So before you ask this game, and you teach the students A, E, I, O, U, and then you pick a student and you start doing this crazy conversation, which is, for example, I haven't got a classmate to do about it. So, for example, aha, E, O, U, and you start creating this crazy vowel conversation that, to be honest, can last up to 2 minutes. But the kids enjoying it is very fun, and this A, E, I, O, U is sticking in their brain because it's made in a very fun way. I meet sometimes students on the corridor, and they say E, O. So it's actually, we create our own way of greetings. Anyway, this is just to learn vowels. If you try it, it works. It's very fun. Now, another adaptation, for example, teaching, that's especially at the beginning of the year, when you're teaching adjectival agreement, which might be an Achilles heel. So instead, it's like what Gianfranco also says, Gianfranco Conti, when he says about implicit knowledge, it means that sometimes we can introduce the knowledge maybe through games and then move to the explicit knowledge, to the teaching of grammar, and that's it's a massive help, because, for example, the ghost repetition is a very common and common activity that everyone knows. But the way I readapted is creating an adjectival ghost repetition. So practically, as you can see, I put a blue ghost and a pink ghost. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the class only the boys to repeat when I say cansado, and only the girls to repeat when they say cansada. So I say cansado, and all the boys cansado, cansada, and all the girls cansada. And obviously the boy that joined the girl, without me explaining him, he immediately realized that he's joined the wrong group, and vice versa. And obviously, when I say triste, all the class says triste. If you do this game for 4 lessons, then you can introduce the adjective agreement in a more easiest way. Another one was a game that's shown on the conference about Amanda Barton. You'll know about Amanda Barton. And which is hands up, hands down. So, for example, hands up, content, hands out, content, 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 heureux, heureuse, heureux, heureuse. So you play this game, hands up, hands down, which is so fun in the lesson. And then after a while, you stop pronouncing the word, and just the kids has to repeat the words when you move the hands. So content, content, and they follow your up and down. It's a good way to reproduce the language, and actually also rehearsing the adjectival agreement, so masculine, feminine. Now, another way to teach phonics is surely one of the most effective, probably, is the faulty echo. The faulty echo, now, if I developed a good variety of activities, is also thanks to Twitter and to all the teachers that share resources with me. And I can't thank enough Aurélie de Normandie, Aurélie LTH, if you want to follow it, because she was one of the first one where I started sharing resources, and she taught me a lot about implementing these kinds of games in lessons. So I would like to thank her. So the faulty echo is a Gianfranco activity anyway. So the faulty echo, what you do, you read the sentence correctly, and then you reread the sentence incorrectly, okay, with one word mispronounced. What the kids need to do, the kids simply needs to write on the mini whiteboard the words that you mispronounce. It's a very interactive way, because as soon as you mispronounce the word, they immediately show you the mini whiteboard. And what happened, going back to year 7, for example, the very first 4 or 5 weeks, when they get it right, say, okay, me gusta, me encanta, me encanta, me gusta, me gusta, me encanta, me encanta, que bueno, perfecto, perfecto. And they start, first of all, it's extremely engaging. They start learning the sounds. But what happened is that when I then move to opinions at the 6th, 7th, at the 3rd, 4th week, they already heard the me gusta, me encanta so many times that not one of my students say me encanta, because they know that me encanta is me encanta. They've implicitly, through this game, also learned the opinions. Anyway, they really enjoyed it, because this is one of the feedback. I enjoy faulty echo because it helped me detect which word I pronounce. I mean, in year 7 used this word. When I read it, I said, wow. Anyway, I enjoy faulty echo because it challenged me to correct and use Spanish. So extremely effective. Now, how do I structure my lessons? So the very first activity, it is always the faulty echo. I always introduce with the faulty echo. Okay, so very low thinking activity by you introducing the phonics, the new knowledge. Now, second one is usually mind reader, the mind reader or mind reading. So the mind reading, maybe you all know it, but we all weirdly readapt the games in our own way. The way I do the mind reading, I take a mini whiteboard, I write a number, and I'm gonna ask students to read the sentence. Okay, so the first one who spot the sentence I wrote in my mini whiteboard, get a positive, get a sweet, get just a praise, a clap of, I don't know, you choose your own reward according to your learning environment. But it's a good way to start introducing the new knowledge. Now, third activity that I always do, and it's extremely engaging, and students love it, is the translation from sentence builder. So translation from sentence builder, before I translate it from target language to English. So for example, I read the sentence, j'adore mon chien qui s'appelle Bruno, il est petit, or whatever. And the students have to translate it into English, and they immediately show me the English, okay, in mini whiteboard. And for example, you can translate up to, I don't know, 10, 20 sentences in like about 10 minutes. So they practice the language over and over again very quickly. And again, me gusta, me encanta, me encanta, me gusta, perfecto. Oh, que bello. They're so happy about it. I mean, it's really engaging and create a positive learning environment, because they're all successful, okay? Being successful is at the base of when you start learning a language. So before I translate from target language to English, and then from English to target language, okay? And it's extremely effective because, for example, then I ask, I love my dog, for example, I have a black pen, okay? And they immediately show me, tengo un negro boli, no? The adjective comes after the noun, or maybe it's the right negra, you immediately say, no, it's negro, negra. So there's this immediate constant feedback that they correct themselves straight away. And as I said, you can do like 10 sentences about 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and there's very few activity when you allow the students to translate so many sentences. And also it's very low thinking because they got all the knowledge there. They start learning also the syntactical structure of the sentence. So my advice is that you always spend a good 10-15 minutes in this kind of activity because it's extremely effective. Oh, lie detector. Lie detector, other activity that I do. In my opinion, this is probably the best activity you can do with kids. I mean, in my lesson, it can last sometimes up to 20 minutes. And when I stop them, they actually ask me to continue. So it means that they really thoroughly enjoy it. So the rules is that you write a number in your mini whiteboard, okay? And then you read a sentence. The opponent, student B, needs to guess if the sentence you wrote is the sentence is the number you've written, is the sentence you read is the actual number you wrote in your mini whiteboard, and the student say true, he get the point. If the sentence you wrote, it is not the actual number, the sentence you read is not the actual number that you wrote in your mini whiteboard, and the student saying false, he get the point. So it's very aleatory. The only things that the other students need to do is to spot if it's false or if it's true. In that case, you get the point or he gets the point. Now, it is only giving instructions is a bit confusing. So what I do, I always model it before with one student. So I play against one student, I write a sentence, I read a sentence, and ask him, do you think that the sentence I wrote, the sentence I read, true or false? If it's, for example, number 1, and I read sentence number 1, and he say true, he gets the point. Otherwise, I get the point, okay? And then he plays against me. Then I play with another student. The first one reach 5 points is the winner. And then you pass the ball to the students. And what you do, you just see the class from the top. Now we can circulate, but I just see the class from the top, and I say, oh, ah, oh, r, and I just correct the sounds according to what they're doing. So you got the control of the class. They're all engaged in the activity because it's great. And also for this one, also the feedback are great because I love lie detector because it's fun and you learn more. I love lie detector, it's fun and stick in my memory. You know what I mean? These kind of words they wrote. So it means that they really enjoyed it. Sentence stealer. Now we all know the sentence stealer. What I did is I readapted in a COVID restricted way. Because we know with the sentence stealer, we all have to circulate. What my idea was, and it actually is working, and I love it. So I am still giving to the students the 3 post-its. They write the number in the post-it, and they still play papel, pedra, tijeras. Now the rules is now that who loses read the question, and who wins has 2 chances to read in 2 sentences in order to steal the sentence. Okay, so it might be that he read 2 sentences and he spot two sentences, so he steal 2 sentences. But when he steal the sentence, instead of stealing it and sticking it in his mini whiteboard, he throw it. Okay, so the first one who remain without sentences is the loser. So it's another good way to practice, and students also love it. So it can be playing pairs without circulating to the classroom. So it's just my own way to readapt the sentence stealer because we couldn't do it with COVID restriction, obviously. Boba Classic. This is an activity by Jack Hunton. Boba Classic, frankly, now these are only 11 sentences. Okay, if you have, for example, a group of 22 students, you split the class into halves and you give one number to each students, 1 to 11 group A and 1 to 11 group B. Now, if you have, for example, 21 students, you might want to give the extra one to the high achievers, so it's got 2 sentences. And the game is, people do it in different way. The way I do is that I read the English sentence, and the students who has the translation and to immediately stand up and show me the correct number, and then read the sentence. So, and the first one who stand up gets the point of team A, of team B. It's very engaging because this, as is a team a game, you don't have any disruptive students who stand up without knowing the real answer, because then they're gonna affect the whole class, the whole group, because if you get it wrong, then I don't give them the point. So it's a very engaging activity, which I use, which you all use, most of you use maybe, and but it's extremely effective. Sentence bingo. This one, the very first one who create this template. These are all based from Gianfranco, but we all readapt in our own way. The very first one who made this activity was Vanessa Sherrill, top teacher. Now, it's a very, very easy low prep activity. So you draw a grid from 1 to, with six space on it. So you put 6 number 1 to 11. You read the sentence in English. The student has to translate into Spanish or into the target language, and then cross out the number if that's the sentence. The first one who cross out the old bingo does bingo. Insomma, very, very easy activity. Now, language. I have the pleasure of collaborating with Simona, Dylan Vignales, and Gianfranco, and we wrote Italian Sentence Builder. Anyway, Simona, she is a very dedicated, maybe you know now Simona Gravina, but she works in primary, and she does in primary things that I don't do sometimes with my key stage 3, or she's top students, we have to say. The resources she creates are amazing, and she readapted some Gianfranco's game. For example, the Despacito game, I did it for the first time last week, and it was great. She does it with primary kids, and it's great. So practically, you read the sentence, vivo en Glasgow, me encanta mi ciudad porque es ruidosa. So they learn syllables, they learn to do it despacito, and then you ask them to do it rapido. Vivo en Glasgow, me encanta. And then you do more rapido, and then you change again. Clap your hand, too slow, too fast. And it's a very engaging activity. Kids enjoy it. It's just repeating the same sentence over and over again. Speaking 5-ball, I tried it. Top activity. You throw a metaphor, a fake ball, because we can't throw any balls with COVID. Anyway, the kids has to take the ball and read the sentence as fast as you can. So, por la mañana levanto, me ducho, me visto. And the more you practice it, and the more the kids learn how to pronounce the sentence quickly. So when you do this activity for 3-4 minutes, at the end, the kids can really read the sentence very, very fast. And the good of these games, let's call them games, that these all last about 2 minutes each. And in lesson, you can do 5-6 of these. So you keep the level of engagement always up and up and up. And I found extremely benefit also from a behavioral point of view, because I am not a strict teacher at all. I am not. And this kind of approach helped also my behavior management in the classroom, because I'm actually enjoying the activities. First of all, I am a very eccentric teacher, okay? And doing those boring PowerPoint in the past was really affecting also my positive attitude in the classroom. So doing also these games has kind of reactivated my emotions in lesson. So delayed dictation. Delayed dictation, we all but delayed dictation is a great activity. So practically you show a sentence and you read a sentence to the students. Then you put a blank slide. So you read the sentence several times. Then you put a blank slide. And you can ask the students to wait before they write the sentence, okay? Sometimes while they're waiting before writing it down, you might want to sing. For example, I love to sing. For example, I read the sentence, then I put a blank slide, and I read and I start singing. I love the ritmo vuelta, so I start singing. A mí me gusta bailar el ritmo vuelta, a ti te gusta. Con la mano, con l'altra mano. So they're actually also implicitly learning the opinions, mano, braccio, braccio. And if you do it, if you do a delayed dictation, and then if you do the whiteboard, where you keep repeating these me gusta, me gusta, me gusta, then you consolidate even more in the brain these kind of phrases. Anyway, back to the game. The students need to write the sentence when I ask to write them down. So read the sentence, blank slide. I wait a few seconds. You might want to sing during that second, so you distract them. And then when you ask them to write down, they write down when you are, and they show it straight to you. And again, you immediately, no, wrong, correct, okay? So it's they retain the sentence in their brain for a few seconds, and it's a good memory practice. Now, obviously, one of the students said, I like the delayed dictation because I like it when seniors sing and dances. I think it is the one that helped me the most in translation games, okay? So there is also a benefit, not also the enjoyment because I sing and dance, but actually she learned about it. Now, this also activity was made by Simona Gravina, but from Gianfranco too. So actually, we read the sentence and the students only have to write down the missing word, the missing letter. This is extremely effective because you can focus it on the mistakes you think they are doing. For example, in French, they always write je m'appelle, so you focus on the E, and so they know they have to write the E. Or maybe, I don't know, you choose your own mistakes, the one that you know, the misconception, the major misconception in your classroom, so you can tackle it in terms of phonics, in terms of graphemes. Yeah. Spot the intruders and mistakes. This is another great activity because is extremely achievable. Because you read slow the paragraph. Obviously, the paragraph I show them, as you can see, has got all mistakes, all missing word, but you read to the students the actual correct one. So the students has to add the word, has to cross out the word, or maybe correcting the mistakes. Obviously, when you also add the mistakes, you are kind of challenging them, so it depends from the group. But like if there is just spot the intruder or add the word or adding the missing word, these are very low activity because if you read it slow, they can understand the sounds. And also you can differentiate it because you can clearly show the missing word, where is it to the students, so they know where to focus the listening. So an extremely successful with students. This one by Aurélie. Termina la ¿Sí?
5 minutos, you have 5 minutes.
Sí, vale. Termina las frases. De nada, termina las frases con 5 palabras. So you give a sentence and the students have to finish the sentence. Maybe you choose 3 words, 4 words. So you are still working with the sentence builder that you've used so far. Listening slalom, another great activity. Practically, this was given as a remote learning homework. Okay, so because I put the audio, so the students could do at home. But what you do, you read the sentence in target language, and the students needs to translate the 5 sentences following the syntactical structure from the listening slalom. Sentence cows, it needs to be done with 3 students. Sentence cows, 3 students. So you have two players and 1 referee. The referee has to choose the order of the sentence. Each one made these games on its own. The way I make it is that I do it with colors, so the referee can write down the colors. Then the referee read the order the order he chooses of the sentences, and the players need to start rereading the sentence in the correct order. Okay. When they make the mistakes, it's passed to the other students, and when the games end when they all can spot the correct order of the sentences. Sentence count. This is a 3-game activity. In terms of behavior management, once I start a three players activity, I then continue with 3 players games. So I then move to pyramid translation, because pyramid translation is another games that you can do with 3 students, because obviously you have 2 players and 1 referee. The referee has the translation, so the player 1 starts translating. If he can't translate, the referee telling the translation, and you move to player B. So player B can translate the first bit. He moved to the second one. If he can't, the referee tell him the translation, and then you move on until the end. So the first one who reach the end is the winner. Another great game that can be done in 3. Is the no snake, no ladders. Obviously, this one it needs a bit of prep behind, because you have to write down all the words within the no snake, no ladders table. So this student playing no snake, no ladders. There is a referee again with the answers, and the players has to translate the sentence correctly. You see. And when they get it wrong, in the following turn they have to read the sentence. They have to be able to remember the translation. Otherwise, they stop another turn before rolling the dice. Narrow reading is actually doing the same reading, but changing just vocabulary. So the students have to spot the different vocabulary in each paragraph that has the same structure. So you see, hola, me llamo Antonio, y va a hablar de mí. Hola, me llamo Antonio, y va a hablar de lo que. Entonces, they have to spot, in one is durante el confinamiento, in the other is en esta semanas en casa, but the structures is always the same. When you move into writing, the way a sentence builder should be created is with on top the headings. So the students know that the syntactical structure is a verb, a preposition, a city, a connective, an opinion, and obviously it changed from sentence builder to sentence builder. Having this clear structure on top, it also helps you in moving to other games, for example, mosaic translation, because in the mosaic translation, we move from left to right, but we're still following the syntactical structure. They're not mixed up. So again, time frames, verb, activity, connective, opinion. Or also, you can still use this template work from Cisa Silvia. You still also in this, I'm almost finished. You still also in this one, you in the rock climbing translation, you are following the same syntactical structure, but from bottom to top. Okay, so we're just shifting the game. Another one that can be done if you also have the headings on top on the sentence builder is that the sentence puzzle. So the students put the words in the correct order. So time frames, verb, noun, subordinate, and it's just a mixed up sentence that needs to put in order. Tick the box translation. This one was created by H-Foot MFL, but I readapted in many other topics. So the students tick the box on the translation and they skim step by step the translation. So you actually helping them in translating the whole paragraph, which sometimes might be inachievable. It is not in any case like just copying because students can't find it challenging anyway. So it means that before it could be impossible. So it's a way to help them to make it achievable and to create a more successful task. Spanglish translation. Obviously, Spanglish translation is a Tangle translation. This works extremely well in every lesson. So you write a mix of Spanish or target language and English words. Before the students underline the target language, then they with one highlighter and with another highlighter that they underline the English, and then they translate them from Spanish to English. And then I have tons and tons of games, but I think these are the most successful in my learning environment. My advice is that never put boundaries to pupils, because, for example, following Orly Dermandi advice, I start implementing the me gustaría straight for lesson 1 with year 7, something that I never did because I thought it was an overload of knowledge, but I was wrong because it just adding a tiny sentence, and some of my students, this is year 7, they wrote me llamo, the name, pero me gustaría llamarme, no tengo mascota, pero me gustaría tener. So I start implementing the me gustaría because it's the most difficult bit straight at the beginning. So anyway, sorry if I rushed a lot, but there were too many ideas. That's it. Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Stefano.
Grazie.
Okay, Stefano, will you share the PowerPoint so I can share with everyone?
Yes, actually, what I want to say, if you go, I share the PowerPoint, but if you go on tests, anyway, so if you go on tests in the PowerPoint, there is my page. All my resources are free, so feel free to download them without problems. Okay.
Oh,
but anyway, yes, I'll send it to you straight away. Gracias, bye. Grazie. Thank you. Prego.
And
grazie.
thank you so much for everyone who has been here in this webinar.
Ciao, grazie. Grazie.
All
ciao.
our presenters. We have had a lovely webinar.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Ci
Thank
siamo?
you so much for your lovely comments.
Grazie.
You see, Stefano, people are saying adios, bravo.
Adios.
Grazie mille, they are saying also.
Bravo, grazie. Okay.
Adios.
Adios.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Gracias.
Gracias, Esmeralda. Thank you, Esmeralda. Gracias, Ana Carrasco. Gracias, Esther. Adiós. Gracias. Adiós, chicas. Adiós. Muchas gracias. Adiós. Bueno, I'm going to leave now the meeting. Thank you so much. And I hope to see all of you soon, very soon. Adiós. Adiós.